beautiful people, welcome to my channel. Thank you again for tuning in. So today I am going to talk about the obvious elephant in the room in the world, which is all about racism, and particularly about Black Lives Mattering. Because obviously I'm a Black person and I just want to voice my thoughts, my opinions for some people that, know me and have not really thought about how all of this movement has impacted me. So first things first, I want to state this. I live in Australia and I am very grateful to be in this country. Australia is an amazing country. I know so many people that don't live here want to live here. And so it is an incredible country. There's lots of things I love about it. I have gotten so many opportunities since moving here. And so I am not trying to take that away at all with this video. And I definitely will be making a video about things I love about Australia. But let's talk about some things that don't really show up in media as often, or that don't come to light. There's definitely racism in Australia, and I just feel like it is not as well documented and it's not well talked about. And so I will base this around, I did write something on social media about just the whole thing with George Floyd and how we need justice for them, but also I base it around also my experience here in Australia. And then somebody says this is America's fight and it is nobody else's. And I just thought to myself, no, it is not just America's fight. It is, as a matter of fact, a worldwide pandemic. And I really hate to break it to you, but Black people experience racism everywhere in the world, literally. Let's start with the Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders who experienced racism from when they were invaded until today. South Africa, the Dutch invaded them and did a whole lot of dirty deeds on them. China, we saw on the media that they were really being treated terribly. South Sudan, the Arabs came, conquered and destroyed so much of Sudan to the extent the country was divided, and unfortunately the Black people have never been the same. There's still instability, because when there has been war for over 20 years, unfortunately people don't just go back to normality, But anyway, I could go on and on about so many racist, so much racism that's happening in so many different countries, but I will stop there and let's bring it back to Australia. And I'll just talk about a little bit of history. I've got a lot of this information from World Vision Australia. I have been educating myself a little bit about the Aboriginal history and Torres Strait Islanders, because the fact is I actually didn't know too much about them, and I never paid much attention. Maybe also because I have my own issues that I'm dealing with being a Black person. Aboriginals are the first people of Australia. They are confirmed to be the oldest continuous civilization on Earth, extending back to over 65,000 years. And they're known to be among the first humans to migrate out of Africa, making their way through India and Asia to Australia. That was a really interesting fact that I really that I didn't really know, but also makes sense at the same time. Today, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders make up approximately 3.3% of the total Australian population, which is crazy because from what I have read, there were so many tribes and nations that all came together when they first came to Australia, but obviously so many of them have been killed. And if you don't know about that, then you should I would recommend you go and do a bit of learning yourself, because the history with genocide and all that is pretty dark. Despite their rich history, they experience widespread inequality, discrimination, and cultural disconnection due to the complex and ridiculous policies and systems in Australia that have limited their voices from being heard in decision-making process. and that impacts their life majorly. And as I was saying before, honestly, since I've been to Australia, there's probably more African people that work in different facets of mainstream lifestyle compared to the Aboriginals, which really, really breaks my heart. Also, just wanting to say this, if there's any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander that is watching this video, please reach out, because I would love to use this platform to amplify your voices, as well as if there's any African people that have something to say, please reach out as well, because I would love to, you know, have more videos where we talk about so many different topics and discussion and create more awareness and find solutions as well. As I was saying, I'm just learning a little bit more about Aboriginal history and all that, so I will basically just leave that there, because I don't want to state any other information that is not very true. But I will also base this video around my experience. Since coming to Australia, obviously, like I was saying, I've been here for over 15 years now. And there's been lots of great experiences, but there's also been, you know, a fair few racial profiling kind of experiences. I realized that my experience is not as bad as some of the ones I have seen or heard or read in America, but racism is racism at the end of the day, and it impacts on every individual regardless. So I just want to basically just list a few different things that I have experienced in my work life, in my social life, in school, just in general, just observing how people have treated me without saying anything. And I find that that's a lot of the racism in Australia is not very blatant. It is very hush-hush and, you know, under the carpet. But you, the individual who is, you know, Black, experience, like, you can feel it. And I just find that sometimes actually is a lot harder to deal with. You know, you can't confront it because you don't know where it's coming from. There's been numerous times where me and a bunch of my friends are walking around and people will yell out of their car, "Go back to your country, go back to your country." And I just think to myself, mate, what do you mean I should go back to my country? You mean all of us should go back to our countries, right? Because none of us actually originate from here. I always say the only person that can tell me to go back to my country is an Aboriginal, full stop, or Torres Strait Islander. Nobody else. I find with work, if you're at a low level position, I find that there's not much of, you don't feel much of a racism, right? Much of a discrimination. But the moment you want to start going up to higher positions, that's where you will start seeing it. And sometimes actually that's when sometimes it can become quite blatant. At my workplace, I've seen a few situations where some of the African girls have had to leave the job that the same job that we're doing, and went to another organization because they've wanted a promotion for so long and they can't get it. And unfortunately, sometimes they have to go to a smaller institution, or like they have to go further away to be able to get, you know, like a higher position, which really, you know, like, it shouldn't happen like that. There's situations where, you know, like I'll be sitting in the bus or on the train, and you can see that it's fully packed and there's no seats, but there's a seat next to me and nobody would want to sit next to me. And I'm like, you're lost. I'll be here chilling, enjoying it. And then there's situations where sometimes, you know, like some people will talk down on you, and you just think to yourself, why are you talking down on me? Like, there's absolutely no reason. I do my work with excellence and I treat everyone equally. Like, but it's just, I find that if there's absolutely no reason why somebody, no valid reason why somebody is treating me the way they are, like badly, it usually comes down to racism. It usually means that they actually just don't appreciate the fact that I have that position or have anything that they, you know, that they have. And it's just a whole thing where they feel they're more superior than I am. And it's just really ridiculous. There's times where I've been stopped by the police and they ask me so many ridiculous questions. And I'm just like, this question even has, like, it just doesn't make sense why you have to. You stop me, you want my license, okay, I showed me my license, everything, you know, my ducks are all in a row, but then you go ahead and start, you know, looking in my car and searching, and I'm like, dude, calm down. And then there's also been situations where like people assume that, you know, like I don't speak any English, or that I would not be able to understand a joke or understand, you know, like their lifestyle. Just because obviously they think that I'm so different just because I am dark skinned. Or going to, you know, like certain shops, you know, expensive shops, and you walk in and everybody, like everything stops, and it's like, what do you want here? You don't belong here. Do you even have enough money to afford any of this? I mean, this shit happens to so many black people. It even happened to Oprah. If you don't know, it happened to Oprah. So, and like, I mean, if it can happen to Oprah, like, how crazy do people like think low? How crazy do white people think low of black people? It's ridiculous. And one last thing actually that I want to point out, you don't see models from black backgrounds on a lot of the TV shows or TV commercials, or like on brand commercials. And honestly, that just needs to change, because black people buy a lot of your shit. So it's about time you actually start including us and involving us. Like, there's so many black models that I know of, but they won't get jobs because nobody will hire them, because they're just so different. They won't fit in. Well, it's not even about fitting in. The fact is, if I see a brand with models that look like me, I am more likely to actually go and buy from that brand. For real. And so you really just need to start, you know, like to all the brands and all the businesses, you need to start hiring black models, black people, because we do matter and we actually do contribute. We really, really do. Let's finish this with talking about some things that you should not do or say to black people. I just think that we just need to spell this out. So there's some things that you just should not do as much as you want to. I know a lot of white people they really, really want to do this. And I don't understand why, because like you do it and then you do it again tomorrow, and then you do it again tomorrow, even when I have told you the answer. Number one, please don't ask me if my hair is real or fake. I mean, I don't go asking if your hair is real or fake. I can see that you have extensions or not, but I will not ask you if your hair is real or fake. So why do you feel the need to ask me? Right? And please do not touch my hair. Just don't, like, just look at it and admire it from a distance, and just let's leave it at that. I am not an animal in the zoo, okay? I am not a mannequin. I am a real person with real feelings. You know, like just like there's things that you hate to be asked over and over again. There's things that you hate, like you just think this is a really dumb thing. Black people think it is a really dumb thing when you ask if my hair is real or fake, or if you just, especially when you just start touching my hair. There's a lady who was like, oh my gosh, I love your hair. And she was already touching my, I was like, I don't even know where your hands have been. Please don't touch my hair. Don't ask to touch my hair. Just look at it and just move on. Number 2, stop asking me where I'm from. I know a lot of white people have said, oh, but it's a conversation starter. Come on, there's other conversation starters. Just like you would ask a fellow white person, oh, how's the weather? Or how's your day been? Do the same for me. Please do the same for me. You look different from me, but I'm not going to ask you where you're from. Because the fact is, in Australia, we all can ask each other where you're from, except for the Aboriginals and the Torres Strait Islanders. But black people don't ask white people often where they're from, because there's other things that I see more than your color, your skin color. So stop asking me where I am from or where my ancestors are from. I've been telling people, oh, I'm from, I'm from here. Because I've been here a long time and I'm an Australian citizen and I work and pay taxes, okay? So as far as I know, I am an Australian citizen, right? So I'll tell people, oh, I'm from here. Oh, but where are you really from? From here. Oh, but where are your ancestors from? From here. Oh, really? Well done. Okay, so since when is that an achievement? Number 3, this has happened to me a few times. People will touch my skin, they're like, oh my gosh, it's so soft. What did you expect? I mean, what did you expect? Do you do the same to fellow white people where you touch their skin, they're like, oh, it's so soft? Please don't be surprised. I'm not an animal, okay? I'm a human being. Underneath this skin, there's actually the same blood and vessels and everything else that you have that is in me. This is always interesting. Oh, you speak really good English. Did you study here? Oh, wow, amazing. I spoke English before I came to Australia, and that's because the British colonized us. Have you forgotten that? The British actually colonized a lot of countries around the world. So yes, a lot of African people speak English because your ancestors colonized us. So stop acting dumb, stop being shocked and surprised that we speak good English. And besides, we actually work hard also to improve our accent, because when I first came to Australia, everybody seemed to ask me 1,000 times what I am saying, because apparently they could understand me. Another thing, please stop asking me if I know your friend or neighbor because they're black. I don't know all African people, just like you don't know all white people. So please, just stop. It doesn't make sense. And then the last few things that I just want to say are more because everybody has made noise about the whole ending racism, and we need to do better in a time like this. And I don't want this to end here. I actually want, and we've gotten so many white people saying, yes, we stand with you, you're our allies, and we really, really appreciate that. And I actually want to take this opportunity to thank every white person out there, friend or not friend, that is standing with the black people and, promoting our businesses, just saying all these amazing things about us. And I am praying that it doesn't actually end there, because this is only the beginning. The real work, where things such as, if you see a black person, somebody's being racist to a black person, please say something. Don't stay silent. Don't stay mute. And then there's, things where I would highly recommend that you educate yourself, and then educate your friends, educate your family members, and especially if you are a mother or a father out there, educate your kids. It is really, really important now more than ever that, the kids are taught these things from when they're little, because they are the future. The reality is there's so much material, so much information on the internet. So please help yourself. Just start with Google and you'll find a lot of information about how you can help. Bottom line is, it doesn't stop here in our fight for equality. I'm so glad that there has been demonstrations all around the world. I know it started in America, but really I feel like that just had a ripple effect, and I was so happy to see here in Brisbane, actually in Australia altogether, but particularly in Brisbane, that we had a huge turnout for of people from honestly all walks of life. News outlets were saying there was about 30,000 people that turned up, which is a great achievement in itself. And it was very peaceful, but there was so much passion and so much power, and I'm really excited for like where all of this could go. I just hope that obviously we keep fighting. Let this not be the last demonstration, because I know that it takes a lot more for anything to change, especially when it comes to policies or anything like that. So let's keep fighting the good fight, guys. And Black Lives Matter always was, always will be Aboriginal land. And yeah, let's end racism. Thank you very much, guys. As always, don't forget to comment and subscribe and like, thumbs up, whatever you want to do, however you want to show us love. Please share this video. Especially, you can use it to help educate people, especially for white people. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day or night. Mwah.